Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new edition of the Triple Trio, and this one is going to be an absolute beauty with James McDonald and Danny Shum joining us to talk all things Romantic Warrior, and we do it with an unbelievable team. Hall of Famer in Shane Dye and the best form analyst in the business in Clint Hutchison. Hutch, looking forward to the show.
It's going to be a beauty, isn't it? So we've got so much to look forward to. Can't wait to speak to Danny Shum, J-Mac. We've got some fantastic racing in Australia and, well, Romantic Warrior. I mean, to have Hong Kong's champ on our doorstep is brilliant. Yeah, it's exciting, Shane, isn't it, to see how good he is?
Well, we know how good he is, Richo. It's just a matter of whether he can maintain his form from last season with the trip and the feed and everything that goes on. He's outstanding, we know that.
Yeah, and I hope he gets to show it to the larger audience. Well, last week, I reckon we found a winner or two. I reckon you enjoyed it.
This horse has got a very nice pedigree. In terms of distance, we know we're in the right range, but I'm expecting pretty good things from this horse with that cross. It's I think, highly impressive in terms of those numbers.
Galaxy Patches starting to dig in. Northern Beaches still in front. Galaxy Patches driving at him now and is going to get him. Galaxy Patch beat Northern Beaches.
I've got him marked a short price favourite here. He's second up to mile. He'll be ready to go.
He's a length over Spirited Express. Meaningful Star on the best peach. Super Sunny Sing is in front, and the favourite is going to be Too Good. Super Sunny Sing.
I thought Stoltz with Zach on has trialled well. I've got him marked a clear favourite.
I've definitely got Schultz on top. He goes well up the straight. He's run time. He's very consistent, and he was flying at the end of last season.
Stoltz trying to nab him. In turn, Adios is trying to nab Stoltz. Stoltz is just in front of Adios, and then Kerpenny. Favourite's going to be Too Good. Stoltz for the National Day Cup.
Race 1, number 7, Splendid Star. Looks a very good chance for Douglas White and Zach Purton. They don't team up all that often, but they are at this particular meeting, and I think they've got a great chance. Starship
80 and Turtle again. We're playing minor prize only here because the money's been bang on. Splendid Star bolts in. Beat Joyful Champion Turtle again and Starship 80.
Brilliant work. That was last week. As I said, a huge show coming up. First, let's burst out of the gates. We burst out of the gates first over in Europe, and this is the best race in the world. The Japan Cup versus the Arc de Triomphe, a lot of discussion, but the Arc is brilliant, and this horse is electric. The 3-year-old on top of the ground, which is rare in an Arc, Hutch. He was fantastic. He's the champion French 3-year-old. We probably won't see him again now.
No, France have got a lot of good horses at the moment. And he beat Westover, pardon me, which unfortunately has been retired after that race. And Westover had a lot of form to tie in from some of the feature horses all across Europe. So he's an exciting prospect, Ace Impact.
And normally it is very wet at the Arc.
Unbelievable.
But it was at a dry track, and I think that way we got to see the very best horse.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, he was supreme. The market spotted him and had him there, and his unblemished record stays intact.
And let's have a look at Hong Kong. So Cody Mo trains his first winner, Frankie Law, 400th in the career.
Yeah, well, Frankie's, a lot of these local trainers are just going so well now, and we've got Cody Mo on the scene. This was a brilliant ride from Zach. I'm sure that Shane will be covering this shortly, but he drew the outside gate and got him into a fantastic spot. So well done to Cody Mo, because you want to get that monkey off the back, and Cody's done that. Heroic Master was number 400 for Francis, who had probably the best tutelage, Shane, you could have in racing. He was assistant to John Sires and John Moore, so a couple of very good Hong Kong names there.
Unbelievable, but every season he's been right up there. It's been a fantastic start to his career, and he's trained so many winners so quickly.
There's been a few that have sort of been under John Sires,
yeah.
But Frankie's the one that's, you'd say, well, he's emulating John.
Yeah.
He's
been doing a lot of listening, and now he's applying his trade.
If you listen in Australia, who's the best trainer? I talk to a lot of people. They all say Joe Pride. Nearly everyone says Joe Pride. Now, who was he apprenticed to?
Yeah, that's right.
John Sires.
That's right, and that link there. I mean, Joe Pride is brilliant at finding a horse and really improving it. He doesn't have the numbers of, the Waterhouse, Spot and Chris Waller and Mar Eustace, but he has an elite strike rate. You're right, he's a fantastic trainer. Harry Bentley hit the board, Shane. He got a nice double, and Zach's back on top of the premiership.
Yeah, well, Zach come right last Wednesday week, so 10 days ago. He got his rhythm back and he got his fitness back. This was a nice ride. Had a good gate, put him in the right posse and won. It was good that he rode 2 winners because it's not easy for them, to get the right rides.
Yeah, Harry, and that's what I think a lot of the guys that have been there probably a year or two, like your Harry Bentleys, Luke Ferraris, some of these guys, they're getting opportunities and they're sort of taking them at the moment. I think most of the guys are riding well, and as Shane said, Zach's back. He's ridden 5 winners in the last week, so he's sort of back on target.
Yeah, so Zach back on top of that premiership as we look at the premiership. So Zach Purton on 13, Hugh Bowman on 12. Now Vincent Ho on 7, Karis Teeton, who's got his hand up saying if anyone looks for a lightweight ride in a Melbourne Cup, I'm available. Karis sits on 6.
Zach identified the pattern that looked on Wednesday, Shane, and he went forward on Denfield, he went forward on another one. It was an on-pace track, and he'd identified that, and I think it made the difference. He went home with 3 winners, and he was happy to sort of ride to the pattern.
That race was trainer Eric Clint. The second horse should have won. He jumped 3 lengths in front. If he doesn't give up the lead, he probably wins. But the trainer wanted it in behind, so he did it. But he just allowed Zach to get a very soft lead in that race.
So Vincent Ho rides a treble at Chariot, but then cops a 10-meeting suspension, Shane. We'll look at his winner first, and then I'd like you to describe what happened with the disqualification he's received.
Well, this was a good ride, got back run on. This is a nice horse. He went no good first up, but he hadn't had a trial and it was 1,000 metres. So I think Casper gave the 1,000 metres as a trial. And he's won 2 out of his last 3 or 4 now. You'll see here, 1 stride before, and a lot of people think Vincent's hard done by, right? But he did stop 1 stride before. And you can see it on the video very clearly. And now, I'm not saying the horse would have won. I'll teach you something, Richo. When you're hitting a horse and he's running on, you put the stick away, he will not stop. His momentum is still going. But if you're hitting a horse and he's stopping and he's leading, when you put the stick away, he'll stop twice as fast. That horse had its momentum up. So I'm not saying he would have won outright. But if you watch the video, he did stop a stride before the post and they charged him and gave him 10 meetings.
Yeah. And is that fair? So it was a dead heat for first. Arguably a discussion, did it cost him the race? Did he slow down? I mean, it was so close to the line. Do you think it's fair?
My view on this is, when I watched it live, I didn't even notice it. When you break it down, you see it in slow motion, you can see what Shane's saying is right, that he does stop a stride before. And you have to ride them out to the satisfaction of the stewards. My pet peeve is jockeys that don't do it. I didn't even notice it in this case. Yeah. And my personal opinion is that, yes, it is a bit harsh. I think 10 meetings is harsh. But he has sort of committed the offence, so what do you do? What do you do? It's a tricky one. It's a hard one,
It was
Shane.
so close to the line, Shane, as opposed to, I mean, the most famous one was Black Caviar, taking your point, when Luke Nolan stopped riding Black Caviar and she was exhausted and she overreacted and literally stopped. But that was, 20 metres from the line. This was right on the line.
This was different. This horse was running on. I'm not saying he would have won outright. I don't know. It's always hard. Their momentum's up. But, the rules are the rules, and you can break that down 100 times, and it's 1 stride before the post, unfortunately. Now, it might be a good thing for Vincent because he's had an injury. Now, I think he come back with a serious injury very, very soon. So he may not still be 100%, right? Even though he's riding sensational and he's riding really well. So another month off might just help him clear all his injuries for the rest of the season. So sometimes it can be a blessing. And no trainer's not going to put him on because of that. Everyone feels sorry for him. So he's going to come back and just go boom straight away.
Yep. And he has appealed. And I think he's appealed the severity. And I think he'd be a good chance he'll get something knocked off, I'd imagine.
Let's check the file called Sweet in Defeat.
They're off. And Sugar missed the start by 4 lengths. Then Dublin Star, Sugar fast buck, smart leader. Oversubscribed, lunges at the post, missed. Sugar, that's a sweet win for Alfie Chad.
Our black booker here on the Triple Trio is called the Sid file, the Sweet in Defeat. Who jumps in?
There are a few from the last week. Richo, that looked pretty, I think, good going forward. Northern Beach has got into a fantastic spot with Matty Chadwick. He put him in the 1-1. Don't think there were any excuses, but overall the race has gone really well, and I think he deserves to be followed. Silver Sonic went to the Valley during the week, first time there. Well, another one, had every possible chance, but comes out of a decent race, and with the benefit of that experience, I think Silver Sonic will win a race. He was always kept safe in the market. And the other one was Ladies' Choice. I thought this wasn't much Zach could do. He drew wide, he went forward. The eventual winner kicked back, and it was his first race start, and Zach, just from that awkward alley, had to cover a bit of ground, but he presented, and the reality was Ladies' Choice either side of the post was in front. So unfortunately for us, we were with Ladies' Choice, just that wrong bow of the head, but I'd be sticking with Ladies' Choice because he's going to go up in class, he'll have a lightweight, and I think he'll be winning again.
Jumps into the file. Hey, jockeys, time for you to sit up and take notice. Genius or Slaughter?
The end across, answering the urgings of Shane Dye. Mannerism coming at him. Mannerism has got it. Daring tactics by Shane Dye. He's got Octagonal in full flight on the corner. Bold tactics by Shane Dye are going to pay off, and he pinches the Chipping Norton.
Hall of Fame jockey Shane Dye casts his eye over all the rides in Hong Kong and Golden Boy. We start with a positive. Who are the genius?
Zach gave this a very good ride. He went back on him early, Romantic, what was he called?
Lau. Romantic Lau.
You see him the outside. He goes back a bit, but he cuts across and behind them, which is perfect. But he wearies the jockey one off the fence out. He's going to be 3 deep here, but the other jock knows he's going to come across, so he actually just gets him out of that and gets one off the fence. The race was over there. Down the back, when I'm watching it, he's the only horse you wanted to be on. He just gave him a perfect ride throughout the race. So, no, full. Zach's back. Zach was gone for the first 5 or 6 meetings, but he's definitely back now. He's got his rhythm. You'll see him here. He's got his timing right now, and he's 100% back, Clint.
And you identified it last week, Shane. You identified the last couple of races that you sensed that his timing was back, and he has rewarded you big time. What about this ride here? What did you like about it?
Well, this was a good ride because going out of the straight, he's the only horse you wanted to be on, and he just had him at the right pace. They run a 28.06. Now, he was suspect at the journey, but once he got that soft lead, and the 2 chances in this race normally get off the pace a bit, he was always going to be hard to run down. He just rated him right throughout the race. He went slow early, and then he just quickened up a little bit at the right time. And, of course, he won by a nose. He just hung on.
Yeah, it was a nice ride. It was a bit of a pattern there on Wednesday, wasn't there, Shane? It was we expected a bit on the C3. It's hard to make ground. The favourite Yichon Warrior there just missed for Huey Bowman, but I thought it was a track that was difficult to sort of peg them back there.
Yeah. So we have a look at the positive votes, Shane, from the Idol. They're all battling for the Idol, and Zach got 3.
Yeah, Zach rode very well the 2 meetings, and Vincent's riding extremely well, right? Of course, Harry rode 2 winners at double. Lung, because he had controlled the race, he could have lost it on Golden, whatever it's called, in the next race, but that's trainers' errors, not jockeys. He didn't want him to lead.
Golden.
And he gave this a very good ride, Keith, King Yin Chair. See, he won and he kicked back because of the pace. If you have a look at the times, he ran about 5 lengths slower the first 800 metres than Dragon Luck did in the next race with Zach on. Zach had to use him a bit to control the lead, and he got run down the last bit. Now, why Keith won on that was he just controlled the race early at the right pace and didn't have to do too much. And he doesn't get many opportunities, so he did nothing wrong on the horse. So let's have a point.
Okay. Was there any jockeys that caught your eye that need to have that ride again that got it wrong?
I think this is, but it wasn't a bad ride or a slaughter, but you just can't do this. When you jump well, this was Harry on Lyrical Motion. See, now the horse from gate 1, you should know that he gets back. You've got to clear him and go 3rd fence instead of coming back, especially when Zach is on a horse who gets back normally and is $2.50 favourite. So Zach just come across as his own. If he actually clears the horse, he's 3rd fence following Zach, and he's made Zach work a little bit. And, of course, Zach got an easy lead again. So if you leave Zach alone in front on these horses that are $2 and $1.80, he's just going to win every time because he just goes the right pace. He doesn't go fast, and you're not going to beat him. But Harry's got to learn that if you jump that quick and you can find the fence on the C+3, you've got to find the fence, especially when gate 1 gets back. And it was just an error which he can work on.
So you took that point that you'd already given him, you took it back off as we have a look at the leaderboard.
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't. And you know what? Look at the Idol. It's on its way here too.
Oh, that is magnificent.
This is the Idol, and the Idol has actually got Shane's haircut. We haven't got a behind shot there, but it'll be here next week, and it's got the mullet.
That is fantastic. The mullet is superb for the Idol. If I won that trophy, that'd be move any other trophy.
That's what they want to win.
And have the Idol with his little mullet and his bobblehead would be magnificent. Shane, I love it.
Next week it'll be right here, Shane.
It'll be here next week. Okay, we change our attention now to global racing. Talking world racing, and we've got 3 meetings that are covered by the World Pool that we'll turn our attention to. So it is an absolute punting smorgasbord, betting into huge pools. So it's so exciting in the Turnbull Stakes. Betting into the big pools, races 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So a Group 1 race, 2 Group 2s, a Group 3 and also the Paris Lane Stakes over 1,400 metres at the end. Also the Sun Chariot Stakes Day at Newmarket with the Sun Chariot Stakes, a Group 1 race over the mile as well. So betting into 4 races there, which is magnificent. And even the Grand Premio Latino Americano. And
we'll have to go there one day.
In Argentina. We'll do an outside broadcast there. Yep. That would be magnificent.
Yep.
A couple of Group 1s there over the 2,000 metres, primarily on the synthetic surface. That looks outstanding. But we'll concentrate our effort on the Turnbull Stakes meeting. So the first of the races that the World Pool's betting into is the Rose of Kingston Stakes. There'll be a short price favourite.
There will be, and very hard to beat. And it will be interesting to see what J-Mac has to say about this Princess Grace, because she will start prohibitive odds, but she looks a good thing, doesn't she? I mean, she's bringing in the Premier form from the Group 1 form. Simple as that, Mr. Brightside, etc. And you know, there's a case to be made she's going to win one of those. So this looks a much easier assignment for her.
And she's been racing at the, building up towards the mile. The race that we're seeing there is obviously the Mackay Diva. Now, she drops back to 1,400 metres, and I would argue this is more in her wheelhouse.
Could be better.
Yeah.
I think it's just an easier field for her. This wasn't a hard run to come out of either. There was a pretty steady tempo, and she's run really well there. So she will be, I think she will be the shortest price favourite of the day at Flemington.
Yeah, no doubting that.
Yep.
If you're looking for maybe Quinella or Exacta, Life Lessons can run well as well for Peter Moody.
I know that's one that you like at a price, so maybe there's your Quinella.
There might be a little cue to play, and those pools will be huge, of course. There is the Rose of Kingston Stakes. So Owen Patrick Bosson makes his way across from New Zealand, rides Friday night at Moonee Valley, and then Saturday at Flemington rides the Group 1 winner from New Zealand called Skew-If as well in that race. But it'll be dominated by
Skew-If's got a good chance.
Princess
Skew-If's had a couple of runs at Group 1 level, has form around a horse called Dragon Leap as well. So there's another one that you could probably throw in your Cornella.
Race 7's the Bart Cummings. Now, you win this race, you're exempt straight into the Melbourne Cup. So much up for grabs here. Who do you like?
Look, First Immortal's now got a run. Of course, a little bit different system in Australia. You've got this horse was originally on reserve. Hugh Bowman, for those people who'd like to have anything to do with Huey, well, he rode this horse last time he was down in Australia just a couple of weeks ago. Great ride, carried 63 kilos.
Yeah.
That is a mountain of weight. Now drops back to 54. Tricky barrier, but I think you'll see on the day get out a little bit in the market. You need a little bit of luck. Here's a look at the field. I know there's one you're keen on, Richo. I think Shiraz will be a price.
Yeah, now Shiraz is around a $20 chance, and Shiraz has been trained at Macedon, and Chris Waller's been saying how much he's enjoying it, that he keeps eating up and that he's really put on some size and flourishing. He'll run really well. I mean, we've got an Epsom Derby winner there in Serpentine who can run well, and Sir Lucan, another former European. In fact, there's a host of former Europeans there that can run.
He'll need some luck First
really
Immortal,
well.
but he'll run well on the day, and I think Shiraz is a good one to throw in as well.
The Turnbull Stakes will be race number 8, which we'll talk to with our very special guest. And then we get to race number 9. This is the Gill Guy down the straight at Flemington, 1,200 metres, a Group 2 race here, and you're going with sustained speed.
Yeah, nothing clever from my part. Looks a race in 2. We're going with the only 2 chances in the race, and I think Star Patrol will be too good. He comes out of a race where they went very fast. We had a horse on the far side there, Najim Sahel, just go too quick. But Star Patrol, who I think has some Hong Kong interests as well in the ownership group, so good luck to them. He was hanging on here, but he was entitled to tire late. He's the starting point. He'll be hard to beat. But you like a little filly called Say Magique with, of course, Graham Begg, and she's got talent.
That certainly she has. So as a 3-year-old filly, she ran second in the Coolmore Stud Stakes, bumped into the mighty In Secret there. So the fillies went 1-2. She's right at the bottom. She'll come up in a moment, and she looks a terrific Q play.
I think it's a Quinella play, and I really don't think there's much depth to that field. I think those two will single out, could even both shorten from their current quote.
So it looks to be a great day to have a bet in that whirlpool with all those races. Well, we've got some superstar guests who are about to join us. Let's get to them, Star Power. Everyone in world racing is really excited about Romantic Warrior making its way from Hong Kong to Flemington to run in a Group 1, the Turnbull Stakes, and then on to the Cox Plate. And Hutchi, we are very, very lucky.
Yes.
We've got the trainer and also the jockey of Romantic Warrior, Danny Shum. Firstly, welcome to the show.
Thank you for giving me the time to come here.
It's brilliant to have you here, and also a warm welcome to your jockey, and James McDonald is about to jump on a plane and head to Melbourne. Hello, J-Mac.
Yeah, great to join you guys. It's really good to obviously talk about one of these fantastic racehorses that's come from Hong Kong, and looking forward to seeing what he can do.
Mate, you jumped on board him on Sunday morning at Flemington. What sort of a feel did he give you?
Yeah, he's excellent. He's unreal, mate. He just does his business like the ultimate professional that he is, and he had a good look around. He experienced the parade ring, the obviously the long walk down to the winning post there, where we go past all the roses and what he'll have to encounter. And we trotted back and gave him a good canter off, and he really enjoyed his work. I thought he definitely needed it, and it will bring him on immensely. But from my perspective, he felt fantastic, and he's looking unreal as well. He's a big brute of a horse, and he's just a pleasure to ride.
Danny, one of the pleasing things, I suppose, we've seen him in some of his races, he gets a little bit keen, but when J-Mac rode him here, he seemed beautifully relaxed and in a good rhythm.
I love James. And James loved him too.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah.
They've got a wonderful association.
Yeah.
Mac, what is so special about him for you?
I loved it ever since I've sat on him. The first time I ever sat on him was in a Group 2 race, probably a month or 3 weeks before the Hong Kong Cup. But I just got off him, and I was just in awe of this horse. He was very fast away from the stalls. He just got a position. He went to sleep, and then he shows incredible acceleration. And that wasn't even his best performance. His best performance was in the Hong Kong Cup, where again he was tackling a really strong field, and the Japanese, I know people say they didn't turn up, which who knows, they might not have, but in saying that, he still demolished them and demolished whatever was behind him. And the great attribute about this horse, he can make 2 runs on him. He's very quick to get a position. He goes to sleep, and then he accelerates, and he's just the ultimate professional, and he conserves energy. A bit like Animo, he just does everything you asked of him, and he just wants to please you, which is unbelievable in a racehorse.
And James, you mentioned he can be quick out from the gates and he's versatile, so that's a positive because you're drawn a little bit high, so you're going to have to make some decisions early there.
Yeah, for sure, and that's the best thing about this horse. So you can make use of him, but then you have confidence that he'll come back underneath you as long as the pace is all right. But that the third time I rode him, the pace was a debacle early. They went no gallop, and he got tugging there for a stride just around the side there at Chariot, and then the pace quickened, and then he got into a beautiful rhythm from there. But there's not many horses that, dead set, over 2,000 metres, unless you've got tremendous amount of ability and talent, you don't put 4 or 5 lengths on a Hong Kong Cup field. It just doesn't happen like that. So he's got to have a tremendous amount of ability, and he's got to be obviously trained to the minute like Danny has him, and albeit this run's a stepping stone to the Cox Plate, but I still think he's good enough to win.
And James, you know the Australian form, mate, better than anyone. Do you see, and there's a lot of horses who are looking towards the Cups. Who do you think's your biggest danger?
I think it's Osapinko, and obviously the other international, obviously West Wind Blows. He looks to have good good ability up in Europe. He faced some nice horses and hard work, and then in the Sandown race where he was behind Paddington and Emily Upjohn, which is good, really good form, albeit a fair way away. But he looks great in quarantine as well. So, but I think as an Australian horse, I think Osipinko's been trained to the minute for this race. He's obviously, we've got to give him a bit of weight as well, which is never ideal against good calibre horses. But he's a Group 1 horse here in Australia, albeit he hasn't won one yet, but he will. And he's got the perfect draw. He won't be far away, I don't think. But I'll tell you what, even at this horse is when he's not really screwed down just yet, he's still going to be hard to beat because he's got a phenomenal will to win.
One quick thing, all of his racing is right-handed, of course, at Chariot. How do you feel he's handled left-handed, and does he change legs and get onto the right leg, which is very important?
And he's been a duck to water, Dicey. He's honestly, hand on heart, he hasn't put a foot wrong this way around. If anything, he felt great. Like he's, I don't want to say he goes better because he goes phenomenal right-handed, but he's so well balanced. This guy, you can just see in his action, he's so powerful. And he got into the correct leads at track work at Flemington the other day, but we all know Flemington's a big, roomy, scopy bend. And about the 500, he changed leg onto his right leg where he thought it was time to go and accelerate forward. So that was no drama, but he was on the correct lead all the way around. And I don't think there'll be an issue at all whatsoever. He's so well balanced, this horse, and talent takes you a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah. James, I'm very conscious that you've got to go and jump on a plane. So just a quick thought, mate, in regards to the other Whirlpool meeting races. Princess Grace looks extremely hard to beat. I mean, it's going to be a short price favourite. Back to Group 2, 1,400 metres. Is she clearly the one to beat?
Yeah, for sure. This is basically her race to lose, to be honest with you. She's dropping back in grade. She's been competing against Australia's best miler and Mr. Brightside and Fangirl. They're probably the two benchmarks, and it's only been 0.6 of a length and 0.2 of a length behind Fangirl. So suggesting that's very, very good form coming here. She's got a lovely gait. She should get a nice enough run with a bit of luck and show her wares. But I definitely think it's a lovely race for her to set up well.
And Athabascan in the Bart Cummings is in really red-hot form and might be able to win its way into the Cup.
Yeah, I was just got off the phone to John, actually, O'Shea, and he's so confident with this horse. He said he's gleaming. He's just gone to a new level since he's put a couple of wins together, and he's a stayer on the rise. He's a beautiful horse, and hopefully, like everyone else, they're trying to book themselves a ticket into the Melbourne Cup. So let's hope he can.
Okay, last word. Danny Shum legs you up onto Romantic Warrior before the Turnbull and asks you what you think. What are you going to tell him?
What am I going to tell him?
Yep.
Sit back and just relax.
Go and jump on that plane, mate. We look forward to seeing you in Melbourne.
Cool. Cheers, guys.
Fantastic. James McDonald. Danny, he seems extremely confident about your horse.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Tell us about the feed, because that has been an issue. He had the American feed at home. He didn't get sanctioned in Australia, and he was on the Australian feed, and now eventually back on the American feed.
Yes, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Hong Kong Jockey Club.
Yep.
His flight 48 packs, the hallway racing 13, come to the Werribee. So now Romantic Warrior and Romantic Champ, they can eat their usual feed now.
Yeah.
So much better. Yeah.
Makes you feel happier with that knowing as well.
He not eat, I not eat.
So how many days has he had of back to his original feed?
Oh, he been back for 4 or 5 days already.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And have you noticed an improvement? Is it just something that he enjoys more?
Before he come here, actually we changed a little bit. The feed not exactly the same, but similar. So he eating need to be better.
Yeah.
But now he eating his usual feed. Now he's back to normal. Yeah.
And his body weight, Danny's pretty close to his fighting weight in Hong Kong.
Yeah. Usually in Hong Kong he's 1155 pounds, but now he's 1147, just 8 pounds less only. Okay. Hopefully these 2-3 days, we can have a little bit more.
So on Saturday when we see him in the mounting yard at Flemington. What percentage do you think that you've got him in regards to a fitness point of view? I mean, he's not 100%. That's going to be Cox Plate Day.
No. I definitely say he's 100%.
No.
But I would like to say 90%.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have a 90% physically condition to run on the Turnbull Stakes. Yes.
Yeah. So Shane, a 90% Romantic Warrior. Keep in mind, this is not a weight for age race. This is set weight to penalty. Shane, you've ridden in it many times before. Only one horse since it's been a Group 1 has carried 59 kilos and been able to win the race. That's the task for Romantic Warrior.
Okay, so you have a look at a horse like Gold Trip. In the betting, he's $9 in the market. He's not in the same class as him, just not.
Yeah.
You go back to Gold Trip in Europe. Dubai Legend flogged Gold Trip every start in Europe. Gold Trip comes here, should have won a Cox Plate probably, wins the Melbourne Cup, goes to Sydney and gets lapped by Dubai Legend there in Sydney, right? And the prices were the same, Dubai Legend and Gold...
Dubai Honour.
Dubai Honour, yeah.
Dubai Honour and Gold Trip in the Ramvet Stakes. They're about 5-6 to 1. He had no hope in the world of beating Dubai Legend on their overseas form. So now Dubai Legend beats the best, Animo, them, goes to Hong Kong, and look what this horse did to him in Hong Kong. So there's your guide on how good he is. He is better than these horses. Now, whether he turns up or not like he did, and Danny, you wouldn't have watched the show, but I said all year, the two great training performances were you with this horse to win the first two races over 2,000 metres with problems. It was amazing, and of course, Casper was straight arrow. But what you did, you know the horse backwards. I'm sure you're going to have him fit enough to win, but whatever he does, he's going to improve. But if he turns up, he's better than these boys. He's just better.
Yeah, and I think everyone believes that. I think from an Australian point of view, you're 100% right. Shane, you've mentioned Dubai Honour as the form reference. So West Wind Blows 2 starts ago defeats Dubai Honour. I mean, well beaten by Paddington. So maybe, Shane, that European form might be the only danger to Romantic Warrior. And he's got to give him 3 kilos.
No risk it could be. I don't know him well enough, Richo. I don't study it, so you're a better judge than me. I'm just talking about the Australian form. Now, I haven't seen this horse in Europe, but no doubt he's good. He wouldn't have been coming, and he's probably better than Gold Trip on what you see their form, the previous European form. So he's probably the one to beat. But I don't know how he's travelled or whatever.
Okay, so what would you be doing? If you were at James McDonald, what would you be doing on Romantic Warrior on Saturday from that wide barrier?
He's got a long run to the first turn, and James doesn't need me telling him anything. He knows the horse. He's going to ping first. He's got so much natural pace. There's no way James is going to dig him. He'll just cruise across, and he'll be running in the first 5 somewhere. He won't panic on him. But in all fairness, I haven't studied the form, and I don't know the pace in the race, so it's unfair for me to give advice or comment.
Yeah, but he's got a good man in this. You got a good man in the saddle, Danny, with Jay Mackey. We were talking before we came on the show. Shane Dye, of course, was retained rider for you many seasons ago. Yeah, he was, and you certainly got a good one on this time. But it sounds like you're really happy with where the horse is at the moment, anyway.
Yeah, pretty confident he can run a good race. Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
We're recording this show, so when we edit it, we'll make sure we edit out that bit about Shane was a really good jockey.
I'll tell you what, though, boys. I'll tell you what should be put in here. When Danny did the feed, what caused that a stink was Nicole Purden. She did a marvellous job with that interview, Danny, with you about the feed, and that went everywhere. And that's when the feed was picked up and people did something about it. So Nicole's got a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, no, well done to Nicole.
Yeah, well done to Nicole, because after the interview, there's coming many lawyers.
Yeah.
Because they also think it's unfair.
Yeah.
Because the horse, I did apply to the Victoria Racing Cup and the Australian government 10 weeks before I got a plan to come to here. I talked to Hong Kong jockey. I know the feed cannot go by the cargo. I said, please organize the feed. Go into the Werribee. I applied 10 weeks before.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they said no.
Yeah. But it was unfortunately the manufacturer of the feed wasn't providing the information to the Australian government. So once that was actually fixed, hallelujah, and the special herbs and spices that are in that feed, thankfully it was all
But at least we brought, I mean, it was good that Nicole brought to light, and thanks to Danny for bringing it. So all's well that ends well.
Correct. And another element of that interview that you raised is the fact that the horse has to be scanned. and has to be sedated while he's scanned. How's he come through those scans?
He has to give him 3 times scan before the cosplay.
Yeah.
The first time scan is when you leave Hong Kong. They have a day, 7 days. You cannot be too early.
Yeah.
Of course, you cannot be too close. So they say 7 days a week before. So I done once, and the next one is after the gallop on the 1st of October. James got to gallop him on the Flemington. But funny is, they said, scan him on Saturday and gallop him on Sunday. I said, come on. How can you do that to the horse? I said, no. I said, gallop him on Sunday. I know it's Sunday, no one going to work, but please scan him on Sunday afternoon.
Right, okay, after he works.
After he works. If you really want to do it this way.
Yeah.
You can do it on Saturday and ask me to send the horse to Flemington and gallop him on Sunday morning. This cannot, it's ridiculous. I totally disagree.
And did you get that weight? Is that what they did?
And then they have a meeting, and then okay, finally they say, okay.
Yeah.
Because the event is used to be holiday.
Yeah.
So they come and do it on Sunday afternoon.
That's
Thanks
good.
God, yeah.
And does he handle that sedation? Has he handled it all well?
No horses can handle.
Yeah.
But this is the rule.
Yeah.
We have to obey it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because the CT scan, not like an ultrasound scan, the CT scan is very, very strict. Even the horse breathe a little bit stronger, the CT scan cannot.
Right.
He had to put a strong sedation to scan the horse.
So that he stays still.
Stays very still.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, it will lose a little bit weight. After Sunday gallop, the transportation, and send him to the clinic, and do the sedation for the CT scan. Lucky, he recovered very fast.
Yeah, he's got a great temperament as well. I saw that yesterday.
Really relaxed, yes.
It is good.
Yeah.
And how important is it for you having the experience of travelling horses? We think about Little Bridge. We think about what you've been able to do overseas. Is that important for you, experience?
Absolutely. I like to thank my ex-boss, Mr. Ivan Allen. He gave me a lot of opportunities to send horses to overseas. Just like Dubai. I went to Japan many times for his horses. Dubai, Singapore, and actually UK, but never in Australia. So I gave him some experience. It's very important experience.
He was actually, Danny, I want to talk about, because you were a big part in Fairy King Prawn's success. This was Hong Kong on the map many years ago.
Yeah.
The first race the Hong Kong won internationally.
Overseas.
And you were a big part of Fairy King Prawn.
Because I rode Fairy King Prawn for Trevor every morning. At that time, I ride a Trevor.
Yeah.
So I know the horses. I know this horse. I know he can win. Yeah, to be true. Yeah.
And you gained valuable experience, and you were a big part of the success for the horse as well.
I'd like to thank my boss, give me a chance.
Yeah, he gave you a good chance. And outside of that, I mean, then on your own note, years later, you had a horse called Little Bridge, who was clearly your best horse up until that point in time. You hadn't been training many years. And at this stage when you went to England, Zach Purton wasn't a champion jockey either. So it was a big horse for each one of your careers going forward.
Definitely. I remember I talked to the steward at that time, Mr. Kim Kelly, is the chief style. So I have to send the horse 5 weeks before. He said, why 5 weeks? Usually 12 days is good enough. He's giving some examples. And I told him, I got experience to send, because my ex-boss said, indigenous, send fireboats over there. I said, for England, UK, 12 days, definitely not enough.
Yeah.
Because the flight is long. They take 13, 15 hours over there and do the immigration and check. And then the transportation to the stable. It takes more than 24 hours.
Wow.
Of course, you have to from Hong Kong, go to the airport and wait more than 24 hours. The horse was like this. If you take 12 days,
No, it wouldn't recover.
you cannot. I said, even the water.
Yeah.
The water was so cold in UK, even this is summer. I said, cannot. So he gave me 3 weeks.
Right.
Okay, I send my staff 5 weeks. So I go the last 3 weeks. So I prove I'm right.
But I remember, and you said with Little Bridge, it was about 1 week or 10 days before the race, he turned the corner and he said, he's right now.
Yeah, because the boys do the good job.
Yeah.
But they didn't feed them very early in the morning.
Yeah.
I told them to feed him, feed, Papa's feed. Give him some feed. Talk with him. But they don't do it. So when I come, I said, why you don't do it? So I drive, I go to see the horse every morning, 3:30. I give him some feed, and I talk to him, and I give him a pat, and I stay 10 minutes with him. Come on, you'll be okay. Come on, like this, blah. No, it's very important. He feel confident.
Yeah.
He feel somebody love him.
Yeah.
So, finally, I make it. Yeah.
You're damn good at this. Hey, Shane, what was he like to ride for, Danny Shum?
Good. No, we had a good season. I was one, but then I had the bad fall at the end of the season, which ruined me. But we had, and Danny had only been training a couple of years. We had about 50 winners, which was huge then, I think, because in those days there wasn't as many race meetings, and of course Wednesday nights you had 7 races, and Saturdays you probably had 8 or 9. You know, they've increased the races now.
So, Danny, you've got to jump on a plane and head back. Sha-Tin, you've got a number of runners. Is there a couple you can identify that you think your best chances are?
I feel extremely lucky. He got one of the chances. Supreme lucky.
Yeah.
He went to the class 2. Yeah. He got lightweight. Yeah.
I think
he
14.
won well.
You've trolled him since he ran the other day as well. He trolled very well.
Yeah, his choice improved than the first winner. I mean, the first win, he tried so. But after he win, he tried him again. He was a big improvement. Yes, yeah. 14, I think he can handle, no problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Danny, what about Castle Legend in the first leg of the TT, Class 4? He's a nice horse. He's a sure winner at some stage. He's got to win.
He should be run on Class 4, easily, for me. But unfortunately, he hurt his back. So we put some injection on his back. Therefore, he had to move a little bit longer to race because he got Richardson when he put the injection on his back.
Yeah.
So he's okay, but he's not the great form yet. But he got ability.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds like he'll go all right.
So Romantic Warrior, after the Cox Plate, he goes back to get to race in international meeting?
Absolutely. He will leave Melbourne on 30th of October. Then he will stay quarantined in Hong Kong and ready for the December race.
Oh, Danny, we're coming up to see him.
Oh, we're coming. We're coming. We're going to have our flag, our Romantic Warrior flag. We're going to be there front and centre. Is everyone looking after you really well here? You enjoying your trip?
I have to say, Paul. Say thank you a lot. Thank you for Paul
Bloodworth,
and Lauren Moore. Yeah, they're really helpful.
That is fantastic.
Very good.
And then you come back for Cox Plate Day. Danny, Cox Plate Day,
amazing
with
day.
40,000 people in that little tiny track. The atmosphere is unbelievable. And if your champion horse is in good form, you're in for the day of your life, I think.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and
enjoy
joining us.
the race.
What a beauty.
Thank you, Shay.
Good luck.
Our very special guest, James McDonald, and then Danny Shum. Let's find some winners at Sha-Tin on Sunday. And we start with race number 7. Hutch, if you can find us the winner here. And Danny Shum's got Majestic Star number 1.
Who's a good chance of the race, but there'll be a short price favourite, I believe, in Youthful Deal, who's had one run back this season, number 3 Youthful Deal. I've got him $1.77. Very hard to beat on the back of a nice trial recently and going in second up. I think Super Win Dragon trial well, number 9. He'll run a race. Danny Shum's Majestic Stars in the mix. And Cha-Chen Prince did finish behind Youthful Deal when they clashed earlier this season, in fact, in this race. But have a look, Richo, at the ease of Youthful Deal here. That's Cha-Ching Prince keeping on quite well. Shane, this was effortless. He's going to get the same sort of run. He's just a much, much better horse on the dirt.
Yeah, he's was very impressive, and he meets the same field. I know he meets them worse at weights, but he would want to, the way he won that. Outside of him, Clint, just looking, Go-Co Win was a big run the other day. He sat 3 wide the whole way and kept going. He's not the worst, and he has got dirt form. And from gate 4, he might get a lot better run, and his runs on dirt have been all right. But Youthful Deal definitely on top. He stands out.
Yeah, so around $1.70 plus. We need to. So from a tote price, if it's better than that, then we'll bet.
Yeah, I'll be. I think Youthful Deal just to depend what price is up. I mean, there's horses in there that can win, or can be competitive, and that might look big on my market. But I'm not going to be changing too much there. I think Super Wind Dragon's the only other runner I had in single figures, and he's the one I'm interested in outside of Youthful Deal.
Race number 8, and Danny's got Supreme Lucky, which we just spoke to Danny about, and you've got it on top.
You know what? I'm going to shorten this in after just talking to Danny, and some might say, well, why would you do that? Well, Danny's assured me that the eyes didn't lie in terms of that trial. So number 9, Supreme Lucky, I will have shorter than the 254, and this is a 3-horse race. But Dancing Code, of course, will attract a lot of attention, number 8, on the back of that sensational first up win. They rated quite similar, Supreme Lucky and Dancing Code, on my figures. But I've lent with Supreme Lucky because he's got some, tactically, I think he's got a big advantage here. And he had it this day. He went forward, Shane. He was quite impressive here. And his recent trial, to me, looked very good. And Danny's just confirmed it, saying the horse has done exceptionally well since that run.
He has. The thing here, Clint, is they've got to go 1,400, both these horses, Dancing Code and Supreme Lucky, for the first time. They haven't raced over it. Dancing Code, the form from that race the other day is not strong when you go through it. He was impressive, and he looks as though he's going to run the 1,400. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them win. I'm actually finding Find My Love, who you know is going to love the 1,400 and is racing well. But these other 2 horses are very promising. All you can do is win, and they win. And they're going to get nice runs, especially Supreme Lucky. It's just going to jump and be outside of Luke Ferraris on, what's it called? The 3-horse.
Yeah, he'll be outside Silvestre. I mean, I'm hoping Aaron Kwok is a big name in Hong Kong. He's a superstar, of course. He's a real celebrity, and all the cameras were on him, of course, for Dancing Code's first up win. I'm hoping the market gets behind him again, Shane. If he gets behind him again, give us Supreme Lucky, and I'll be happy to have something on him, and perhaps Taj Dragon as well. Sorry, Find My Code has got similar colours to Taj Dragon. Find My Love, who might just get that right run in behind. So those will be the 2 I'll be interested in there.
Yep, they probably will. They always do with Aaron Kwok. The other thing is, how many winners has Zach ridden since then, and how many winners has Casper trained since then? And we all know that the all-ups go on, and that affects the market to a big degree.
Get to race number 9. It's over the mile. It's a Class 3, and our special guest, Danny Shum, has Secret Vision. You're with Snaffles.
Yep, these 2 quinelled it last time, but I'm expecting a reverse. I'm going with number 5, Snaffles. 338, I've got him. He finished second and was unlucky behind number 1, Happy Together, last start, although it could be a different map for each one of them this time around. Big Red has the same form, and then I've got Captain Win. Captain Win comes out of the Superb Boy form reference, which I don't like. I don't like that form. I think there was a track bias that day, and I think they were all flattered. And I think this is the right form. Now, Happy Together was great. This was given a positive sort of reference from Shane regarding the ride. Alexia Bedell on the winner, Happy Together. And he maps to get a very good run here, Shane. He'll be a lot closer in the run, and it's a bit trickier for Snaffles. But we saw in that replay there, Snaffles was held up, and probably you could argue should have won.
Well, he meets him better at the weights. His 2 runs have been very good this time in. It must be an easy race, Clint, because I'm exactly the same as you with my numbers. I've got Snaffles on top, or Sniffles, as I called him last week, didn't I? Snaffles from Happy Together and Big Red. These other horses who you mentioned, like Supreme Boy and Captain Win, they've got to go from the 1,400 to a mile now. Superb Boy, does he run a mile? Could be debatable. Captain Win has. But no, I agree with you.
And on that last page there, this is one for the exotic players. Don't leave this horse out. I don't think he'll win just yet. Harry's Hero, I've marked him $20. He's been 100 to 1 his first 2 starts. The market won't be with him, I don't think, and he will run well at a big price. If you're having a TS of first 4, put him in. He can run very well. It was a lot better run than it looks, his second performance.
And Insured has Luke Curry on, and Luke's trying to hit the board. Only had 15 rides so far this season, so needs to hit the board. We move over to race number 10 here, a Class 3 over 1,200 metres.
2 words for this. Is this a word? Impossible.
No, I thought you were saying global harmony. That's 2 words.
It is 2 words. Look, it is a hard race. There's a couple of newcomers. There's horses resuming. It's a difficult race. One thing I know, look, I've got Global Harmony on top. I've rated about 370, 380. Zach rides him. His trial was good. I'm not worried about the barrier, Shane, because it's on the A course. This meeting last year, it played like a typical A course. Rail wasn't great. They could run on. And so if he gets in the running line, or put it this way, it gives Zach options. He can go forward, he can be midfield. It's not the normal negative. And this horse was knocking on the door for a win at the end of last season.
Yeah, he trialled well. He's a nice horse. You can be 3 wide on the A track. You see it every year in the international races and the sprint and that. They sit midfield 3 deep. You see it a lot and win, especially Ryan Moore does. So I'm not worried about the draw because of that. And he'll probably go back a bit on him first up. He'll get his chance. Greenwich has got the right gate if the fence is okay. Like gate 1, he's going to box seat. He was a bit disappointing the other day, but that might be his ability, and he ran the best to it. And now that race the other day is a lot stronger than this race, Clint.
It is.
This isn't a strong race. And
No.
from gate 1, he box seats, 116 pounds. He's had 2 runs this time. He's fit. He's going to be very hard to beat. He'll be there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, in my market, I had him actually second pick, but he actually brings the best figures. He drops in weight. He maps really well. And like you said, that race he ran in the other day was good. So he's in the game. People might have been disappointed in his last run, and it's fair enough.
Yeah.
But what Shane says, I completely agree with. It was a decent race. All that said, Shane, it's a hard race to finish the day. This is a very, very difficult event to close
maybe
out.
through G1 Goldmine, we can get a little insight into Amazing Duck.
Yeah, this horse competed at his only start in Victoria. Now, he was with Brett Stanley.
Yep.
He won at Wangaratta over 1,000 metres. He jumped, he led, he won. He's an interesting runner, Amazing Duck, because the pedigree suggests 12 to 14 is in his wheelhouse, and that's what it looked like following his win. But I love the win at Wangaratta from the point of this. He went forward, he led up, and he was still very strong late with excellent closing sectionals. He's trialled Shane and gone pretty well in his trial. He jumped out. I think Jimmy has him reasonably forward, and he's another one in the race that you kind of got to respect, I believe.
Oh, I think it's a pretty open race, that, but I've got Greenwich on top.
Yeah, it is damn tough. Well, let's find our best for the weekend, and Hutch, lead us away.
Yep, good meeting. Really like that sort of second half of the card as well. So give us strength because we needed it after Wednesday. It was not good Wednesday.
I didn't want to mention it, my friend. I'm still recovering.
No, it was a bit like that. We've got to start kicking some goals. But look, Youthful Deal's the best. He'll be odds on, I would imagine. But it's a decent race. But there might be some value in the exacta. I've got him as a clear on top. And I think we can take him with 3 horses in the exacta. So 3 is the banker with 1, 2 and 9, which I will run through those horses. It's Majestic Star, Cha-Ching Prince and Super Wind Dragon. I think Supreme Lucky is a great bet, and I think Snaffles will be tough to beat in the 9th. Race 8, number 9, race 9, number 5. Those are the ways I'm playing at this early stage.
I like the sound of that. There's a real pep in his step, isn't it? I just sense that you've got a bit of confidence.
We're bouncing back this weekend.
Chatting to J-Mac and Danny is just giving you a little bit of impetus. RS, I've got the pen poised. Talk to me.
I'll go Adderfield race 1. Gate 1, loves the dirt. He was racing really well last season. He should have probably won a couple of more races just through bad luck. He'll get the right run. He's had a couple of trials. It's not a strong race, so he gets his chance to win.
The little thing with him, Shane, might be just probably getting away from the inside because he's drawn one and he can be a little slow, can't he? So Karras will probably have to be...
There's only 8 runners.
Yeah.
So, it's not as though he's going to, like the normal 14 field. 8's pretty easy.
Okay, so race 1, number 3. Hopefully you're okay, mate. Have a quick drink of water. Super show.
Yeah.
Wonderful having a special guest.
It was. Danny was fantastic, and so was J-Mac. And I really hope... I mean, it's great for global racing, isn't it, to have Romantic Warrior here. And let's just hope he runs somewhere near his best, Shane.
We're all barracking for him.
Yes, definitely. Richo, I'm off to hop on a plane, mate.
Oh, really? What part of the world are you going to?
I'm going to New Zealand. You won't believe this. You remember Dave O'Sullivan?
Yes.
The trainer of the great Hall-X who won a Japan Cup and Surface Paradise. The list goes on. Who won a Cox Plate. The list goes Mr. Galaxy. My Blue Denim second. He turns 90 tomorrow, so I've got to go to his birthday party.
Oh, that is magnificent. Send a big cheerio from the whole Triple Trio family, mate. Enjoy yourself and cheer on Romantic Warrior. Hope you enjoyed the show. Go the Mighty Warrior. Show them how good you are.